Max. I still use math to teach my husband GMAT, so that's quite important. So for most of my life, I thought I was living a full success stories. Scholarships, good grades, good performance, a clear path to become a medical professor at one of the leading medical schools in Bangkok or probably Thailand. On paper, my life was perfect, at least for my Asian parents. But there was just one problem. I was not happy. Back when I was in medical schools, I spent long hours of schools, learning, projects after projects, trying to always stay ahead, just to make sure that one day I get a good opportunity to be in a residency that I want, which is rehabilitations, and to get a good chance of becoming a faculty's member there. It was like, back then was like a long list of checklists. Exam A, I check the box. Exam B, check. Project A, check. Project B, check. Sleep, not that much. But finally, once I spent 10 years doing all those things, realizing that it's not only my dream, but my family's dream, and also I expected it to be like the society dreams of like a prestigious job, a very stable career, and a very clear path to what I so-called wish it was a success. When I arrived there, I felt empty inside. After that moment of like, okay, you get into something, for example, getting to a marathon, you get that round of applause, you post that on Instagram, you post that on social media, people were like, congratulations, there are big bouquets of flowers. But after that moment, when you're with yourself, you know, once you're like there and you're like, what's next, right? So then I ask myself, I think I always have that dream of like growing something of my own, having a space that I can actually run a business or a practice of my own, having more freedom to explore, getting to grow at the rate that I wanted to grow, but when unfortunately in a big or a conservative organization, there's not much room for that. But don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the time when I was a faculty at the public hospital. I enjoyed every day. Sometimes it's like outpatient, sometimes it's inpatient, sometimes it's research, teaching and stuff. But it's always that there's something inside me that I felt trapped. But back then I thought, what could I do? I've spent 10 years of my life, 10 years of resources, of my families, of everyone to get to where I was back then. So I continued working for quite some time. But then after a few times, I went to this running event. It was like planning to go for a marathon, so starting with like a 10K event. I met with my senior physicians, and we were discussing about, okay, how life has been. And we were actually, wow, we have like exactly same goals and exactly same dreams. So why don't we just start this together to set up small clinics together? So it was like the once in my life that my heart and my eyes really sparkled, and I really feel it, and that was like a goosebumps. That's very good feelings. So we start brainstorming ideas, doing researches, going to different kind of like clinics, and it has been like weeks after months, and we were pitching this business ideas to many of friends, many potential partners, and many potential investors, we would say, and many, aka all of them, actually drop out. So that was quite a rough patterns. And finally, we find our last partner, which is a current partner, and we start a business. So when we are thinking about starting a clinic, what we have to do first, okay, we'll now settle down, we have to start a company, right? What a company needs for the first time, a company name. If you are going to name a company, who would you ask or where the ideas would come from? For me, it's my personal assistant, ChatGPT. Put all the prompts in, so the name has to be short enough for people to remember, not too trendy or else my parents won't understand, not too old-fashioned or else the new generations won't understand. It has to be something new and unique. So I put all the prompts. They give me like 50 names. Okay, we chose until there are 5 names. You know, that websites where you put in phone numbers or the names, and then the website gives you the scores of feng shui and stuff. I put in all those 5 names, and Agile is the best name, the best score. So we end up with Agile Clinic. And then what else? For the business to start, we need a CI. Okay, my partner called me, okay, what's a CI? I don't know what is CI, I know AI. So you find a corporate identity. The only thing that I could imagine was okay, CI colors. I like greens. Okay, it might be this green. Then what greens? They were like giving us panels of green to choose. If you're familiar with 50 shades of green, I have like 100 shades of green to choose from. And my two other partners who are guys, they cannot really differentiate colors. So it's like us girls who choose. And the funny story is I spent hours of choosing all of those CI. I don't even know if the green walls in my clinic actually the one I have chosen before. Choosing colors, choosing is because it's a small business, no one shows anything for you. I handpick all the towels in the clinic. I handpick the glasses in IKEA. I handpick all the sink, all the tap and everything, all the stones, how big it is. Doesn't really matter, but back then it's quite a lot. And that was such an experience. And then it's now moving on to like negotiating and interviewing my teams, negotiating rents. I've never actually negotiate anything before because as a like doctors with a patient, all you negotiate is like how many exercises you should do tomorrow. Maybe add one more for me. Or like trying to negotiate for them to wear some like shoes inside the house to keep you away from heel pain. But now it's more like something bigger. I have my lawyer next to me, which is my best friend from high school. And it was like, whoa, where would this bring me? It was like 3 people, debate team. We were the same debate team in high school, and we were actually doing real business, and that's a whole new feelings. Interviewing is also a very exciting stuff. So because we were a small business and we were dread for like a team, I have to act like I'm a very tough boss, employers. I don't need you, but you have to be good, so I will hire you. But deep down inside, I know, like, please work with me. Whatever you answer, I'll just accept you if it's not too weird. And that teach me a lot. And now when we got a clinic, we got a rent, we got a team, what else do we need for a clinic to be open? We need doctors to be known. What can I do? I'm not a celebrity doctor. The other guy is not. No one knows about us. So we open a small social media account. If any one of you has a social media account? Yes, everyone, okay. Now try to think about how to make it viral. Or even try to, at first I use it with friends so I can post all the crazy stuff and like whatever I want. But now when you want to make it, to make a personal branding stuff, it's on the other levels. And whatever you talk, you are afraid of people going to judge you online, right? So first thing I did was like, okay, I bought a camera, very basic stuff, put it down, recorded the first video took like 20 takes. I recorded again, watch it over and over again. I redo all the stuff, post it online, bring it down because I'm too afraid it's like clingy, and post it back up. And at some point I was like, I cannot do this anymore because it's gonna take me like 3 weeks for me to post my first video. So I posted it and then I turned off my mobile and just let it be. And you know, it took several months for people to actually watch my video. And now, after a year, it has reached 11.5 thousand followers. And it's about, actually the scariest part is not about how you learn to do the videos itself, but actually how to be not afraid of being judged online. Because when you're posting something like that, it's 100% guaranteed that you will be judged. But I've never heard of that judgment, so I'm fine. Okay, now, just to get you back, I've been doing all alongside with a full-time job as a faculty member at a university hospital. So I was working a week. That's physically draining. Every time, 1 minute after. And then I know, like, I talked to myself one day that I really cannot do this for a long time because back then I thought I could not give like my 100% self to both of the things I'm holding because it's quite big. And for my perfectionist standards, it's like giving a substandard work to both of them, and I'm not happy. Then the mind goes like back and forth. I was asking myself what I really want. Do I want to keep like my so-called prestige dream job, or do I want to keep this business? I was so scared because if I'm about to leave that job, if the business fails, people are going to think I'm crazy. My parents are going to be so disappointed. I don't want to look bad, like I made bad decisions, right? So at some time, I was so desperate that I thought that I was stuck. I cannot leave the job. I have to do things, and it goes on for a couple of months. And then I met my mentor. I'm very lucky to have one, and I'm sure everyone in here also have a very good opportunity to have one too. Find your mentors. When I talked to my mentors, it was like a punches in my face. So he was like, okay, wait a moment. you are actually exaggerating every good stuff about your academic work. You're going to be like top professors and it's going to bring you like glory stuff. And you're actually trying to think about like the worst possible outcome of your business or the thing that you actually want to do. And I was like, okay, that's one punch. Then he continues like, Aim, sit down. For the first time in your life, you want not what others want, not what you think looks good on your profile, on your Instagram. It is proud, but what you really want. Okay, 2 punches. I felt. The question that came up into my mind was like, if I die tomorrow, just like, if I die tomorrow, would I be regret of not trying to pursue my dreams? And the answer was like a real big yes. So I did. I came out. I resigned. And I'm super afraid. I'm walking out of my comfort zones every single day after I resigned from that job. But when you're afraid of something, it doesn't mean that you should not do. Back then I was like, okay, if I'm 60 or 70%, it doesn't have to be measurable. It's just like my gut feeling that this is gonna work, and the statistic has been showing that the business is doing quite okay. So I did. And then there were many people, and then actually the part about it is like I was already calculating my risk and my supports. I think many people are so petty of like underestimating their supports, and that stops them from choosing something that is quite interesting to do. Okay, parents, cover your ears. Back then, the only thing I would think was like, okay, all that I can risk, if everything fails, I can go back to my parent house. I can ask them for a nice like bowl of rice and omelette. They're gonna give me like warm beds, and that's all I need to survive, right? So I chose this business part. And life back then was a roller coaster. I've been through lots of problems, which I now call challenging challenges. And going through like different challenges which they have never taught me in medical schools. There were ones when I was seeing my patients in my clinic and the floor flooded. For some reasons, the tap just decided to broke. And for some days, there are like staffs calling me, the doors just decided to lock on them and all the equipments are in there and there are patients waiting. And what I can do, I was like, just break in the door. So these challenges are what keeping me like working and wanting to continue, wanting to go further and wanting to improve and to improve my team. Life has not been perfect, is it? It is far from perfect. But there's one thing that I no longer question, is mine, because it is. And before I finish, I would like to ask, how many of you have ever stuck in a situations or choose a life path which you just think that it looks good for you, or if you just choose that path because you think that others or your families or the society is gonna think that it's good for you, and you felt so stuck and had no way to go. The truth is, all of you has the power in yourself to choose your life that you want, to design your path and to define your destiny, and it's always there inside you. And sometimes all it takes is just a start and a courage to ask yourself, what if this isn't your life? Thank you.